Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is Thursday, and I've been working out in the garden a little bit this morning. I'm trying to rest just a little bit, but in the back here, in the shade, it's not too bad at all. But out there in the blazing sun this morning, it is really hot. We have a projected temperature today to be 36°C, or about, I think it's going to be around 97, I think somewhere around 97 degrees Fahrenheit here today in Charleston, South Carolina. Well, it feels like it's about 105 out in the sun right now. We have been going through a drought. I don't think we've had any appreciable rain. I can't remember the last time we've got any appreciable rain around here. All the grass around here, if you don't constantly keep it watered a couple times a day, all the grass is turning into that brown one. It looks like wintertime grass out here. It's really hard on the grass right now. Anyway, that being said, today's episode. Today I decided to readdress a topic that I said I was going to talk about maybe a couple of weeks ago, and that's about copyrights. So that's going to be the focus of today's episode. I want to share with you some experiences that I had on my vlog site, and if you're thinking about being a content creator on a social media site about copyrights. Also, I want to give you some updates on some raccoons around here in the backyard. Remember last year when we did the series, I don't remember how many episodes we did trying to rid the backyard of the raccoons, because remember, I live back in the wooded area. And oh, if you notice over my shoulder, the little cage over here, that's the trap. And it's been getting a lot of good use here lately. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well today. So let's go ahead and get today's started. So without further delay, let's get today's video underway. So anyway, I want to do a quick update on the critter situation. Let me find a shady spot. It's actually pretty hot here today. Let's sit back over here. Now, if you remember last year when we did the How to Catch a Critter in Your Backyard series, we did, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 episodes. Remember we had a problem with the raccoons last year. So this year I thought, well, maybe we got rid of most of the raccoons. Because I think we relocated about 5 raccoons using that trap that we did a review on last year. Well, anyway, this year, I thought, well, maybe we would come back and we wouldn't have the problem. Let me tell you a short story. I'll try to make it as short as possible. I was sitting inside the house looking at the CCTV. Remember we did that really neat CCTV camera that goes right above where the fish feed out there, so we could watch the fish feeding. Well, lo and behold, maybe I wasn't seeing things right, but I saw something that looked like a head shoot in front of the camera and then go away. So it was so fast. So I stood there or was watching the CCTV even longer. Then I saw this little hand going in front of the camera, then ahead again, and I could tell right away it was a raccoon. So I looked outside and it was a raccoon that was on top of the feeder, looking down directly at the fish, waiting for the feeder to start feeding food in there, maybe so that he could like throw his hand inside there and grab a fish. Well, anyway, lo and behold, like I said, it was going to be a short story. The raccoons are back again. I don't know how many. They don't normally travel in one, and I will tell you right now, a couple of days ago, I trapped one. I did a catch and release. I released it about 5 miles from here. And now I said it again last night. I put a chicken bone, and let's see if there's another one, because they don't normally travel singularly. They normally are like families, so we're probably gonna have to relocate all these guys back out into the deeper woods. So let's go see if the trap caught anything last night. Oh, well, it appears we need to relocate this guy safe and sound out into the woods far away from our backyard. So that's what we'll do today, and we'll set the trap again tonight. We'll try to make it as predator free for the fish as possible. Okay, now this is getting kind of crazy. I wasn't going to do any more episodes on catching raccoons. I thought we had rid the woods of most of the raccoons back here, and the population had gotten down really small. But then I caught the first raccoon, and I didn't do a video on the first raccoon that I caught. We did a catch and release because I thought maybe that's the only one. Maybe it was a stray. That's the one that I caught in the CCTV. And I got rid of him. Then we caught the second one, a raccoon. But I showed you that one. I showed you the catch and release when we released the second raccoon. And then I put another chicken bone inside the cage again last night in the trap. And lo and behold, I don't know how many more of these are back here in these woods, but we're going to keep pressing on. We want to bring the population down here and release them in the big woods somewhere where they can have their families over there. But I have a feeling they're doing like calling up Raccoon Uber and taking rides right back here to these woods, or not. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and release this guy. We have a trip to do today, and our trip today is going to be to go to Lowe's. And let me show you real quick what I need to replace. Well, what you see down here is a sprinkler head. And the sprinkler head, when it was installed, it was the right level. But for some reason, over time, the level of the ground got higher and higher. How? I don't know. Usually it goes down and down. I'll show you some problems I'm having on the other side of the garage with it going down from soil erosion. But this one went up a bit. So it's either dig up all the pipe and reset this one right here, but I don't like this head anyway. I want to get a different head. So what I'm going to do, it's about 1 inch too deep inside the ground. I'm going to get another sprinkler head over at Lowe's right now. I'm going to replace this one and then see how that works. And that is enough talk about raccoons. Today's episode is supposed to be about copyrights, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I have one quick story that I need to share with you before we go into the copyright subject matter. Now, that last raccoon, what I called raccoon number 3, he was a smart raccoon. I will tell you, he seemed extremely smart from the beginning. I don't know if you saw the little things. He was the one that was drinking the water from the bowl on the side. He didn't really growl that much like the other ones did, and they growl because it's a defensive mechanism that they have when they're caged and they just don't know what to do. But you saw him also when he got in the back of the truck, and he had his arms stuck way out, and he was looking for any way of getting out. Now, no other raccoon of the probably around the 8, 9, 10 raccoons that we collected in the backyard back here, none of them were like that. I knew there was something different about this raccoon, and I will tell you. We put him in the back of the truck. You saw me put him in the back of the truck, and we started driving to that point, that 5-mile point away from here, where we were going to release him inside the woods. And I will tell you, we had to stop real quick. We had to stop at Lowe's, remember, because we had to pick up that sprinkler head. Now, when we stopped at Lowe's, I just took a quick look in the back of the truck just to make sure that Rocky number 3 was okay, and he was gone. He had managed, I'll tell you how I normally do it with the raccoons. I normally disassemble the release mechanism for the door to open, and I push the entire cage against the tailgate of the vehicle so that when I open, and you probably saw from the release, raccoon number 2, when I open the tailgate, the little door mechanism on the cage on the trap, it will open, and then the raccoon can run free on its own. Well, I did that with Rocky number 3, and somehow he managed to push the entire cage away from the tailgate of the vehicle. And while I was driving, and he hopped out somewhere. We didn't drive very fast. We were only driving 15 to 20 miles an hour on the way going to Lowe's. And so he is somewhere inside, still back in this neck of the woods here. He might have even found his way back here last night, because let me tell you, I set the trap again last night. But he is so smart. And the trap, when I set it right here. So what happened when I woke up this morning, as you can see, there's still a chicken leg inside. It's still inside the cage, but the cage itself was like this. It was moved over to the side. I'm gonna assume that there was a raccoon that decided to push the cage away, not go through the front of the mechanism and try to get the chicken leg without going inside. And I'm going to make an assumption that was Rocky number 3, because he is so smart. Because I think he is right back here inside the woods again. So we'll continue with this story at a later date. Now let's finally get serious and talk about something other than raccoons. All that craziness put aside, today's topic of conversation is supposed to be about copyrights, and that's what I want to talk about now. Now what I want to talk about today is where are some of the best places to bring additional media material on to complement your audio or video project that you have on your social media site. And we're going to break them down by which are the safest and which are the ones that you need to be most cautious with. Okay, I go by the rule of 3. And the rule of 3 goes, YouTube has the best, when I say the best, it is the safest. We're going to call it the safest library of music. When we're going to talk specifically today about music, not about the other areas, the images, the photographs, the videos, and things like that. But YouTube has, if you are making a video, they have an audio library, and it's very easy to navigate to. If you have a channel and you want to add some audio, you just go to Creator Studio, and then you click on Create, and the first thing that's going to pop up is going to be a whole section that says Audio Library, and it's broken down very neatly and keenly by genre, the name of the artist, the name of the song, the length of the song, and some of the artists that are inside there, all they require from you is for you to give them credit, basically in the description block, like you've seen on many of my videos. You put the name of the song, the artist, and they get credit for that. But all of the music that is on YouTube in their audio library has already cleared the licensing and copyright dilemma. You don't have to worry about it. That's the safest. The next one on the rule of 3 for me is create your own music. And if you've listened to my channel before, occasionally, and people have caught it, they'll see I've created my own background music, and that's pretty safe too. But if you write something and it's very similar to a song that's out there already, you might be in trouble under the copyright infringement rule as well, because as you know, there have been many lawsuits over the year from people writing a song, and there is a few notes inside there that's identical to a note in somebody else's song, and it goes on and on. And I'm not really going to get into that too much. Chances are you're not going to have any problem with that, but that's probably the second safest. Now the third that you have to be the most cautious about is from downloading from websites such as copyright-free websites for basically for audio is what I'm talking about. Again, it applies to all of the other genres, art, media, graphics, videos. Or another term for copyright free is royalty free as well. Now, a lot of those, they fall under the same category as another system that I'm going to talk about, and that's basically licensing under Creative Commons. And there's 4 Creative Commons categories, and I'm not going to go through each one of them. You can look them up on the web, and you can see what each one of them fall under. And it has to do with how you treat somebody else's material that they produced. But it also falls under categories what you can do with it. And most of all of this that has to do with copyright or royalties or licensing has to do whether you monetize or do not monetize your channel. And a lot of the restrictions apply once you decide to monetize your media site, your channel, such as people do on YouTube. Now, what happens if you monetize and you use somebody's material? Well, they can actually ask you to take the material off. And that's normally what will happen. They have these algorithms, all these big media sites, publishing houses, corporations. They have all these algorithms that will search. They're crawlers, and they go out and they'll look at all these different web media type, social media type sites like YouTube. They'll find their own material in your video, and what they do, they will contact YouTube if you are a YouTube content creator, and YouTube will send you a nastygram. But it's not that. They're very kind when they send it to you, and they'll say something like, "Don't worry about it. You're not in trouble, but your video has been flagged for having copyrighted material as claimed by the claimant." And that's happened to me several times. Normally what you do is you have to respond to it, or you don't respond to it. And it says right in there, if you don't respond, don't worry about it. But basically, if you are monetizing your channel, the claimant, the person, the publishing company, or the artist, they will get all the monetary royalties from your video that will go directly to them. Or you have another option, and your other option is to pull the video, which most of the time is not an option if you have a long-running social media site that's like YouTube, like what you have on YouTube. Or another thing you can do, you can delete the song or the video content, or the other areas, the genres that we were talking about. You can delete that. So basically you have a blank spot, or you have a video and there's no audio content. Have you ever gone to a YouTube site before and you've seen that? You're listening to the channel, you're listening, and all of a sudden the mouths are going, but nobody's talking because they had to pull off that portion of the audio segment, because in the background maybe somebody was playing a song by Van Halen or Aerosmith or Rolling Stones or whoever your favorite artist is out there. So you have to remove that. So there's different ways of doing it. Now, a lot of times what will happen, like I said earlier, the royalties will go to the claimant. It's their material, and they have all rights to that. Most of the time they will not tell you to take it down because their material is going to be advertised on your site, and they get more money for that. Now, I want to talk about my experiences. I've had experiences for the last 3 years since we started My PI Dream. I've had experiences where people have made claims. Now, if you know it's not a true claim, then you can respond and you can win. Basically, it's like going to court. You can go inside there and you can say, no, this is not what they say it is, because some of the algorithms that are out there, they're not as smart as you would think they are. You will have an audio track that will be on your video, and they will claim it's a totally different song whatsoever. What I learned after I did about 100 of my videos, what I found from people doing false claims on there, I went back to each one of the spots on every one of the videos, and I wrote down the name of the song, the artist, and the name of the song inside the description block. If you ever have an opportunity to look at my description block, you'll see that's inside there. Because now I do that automatically. Each time that I produce a video, before I delete all the source material, I look at every one of the songs, and most of the songs, again, come from the YouTube library, or they're my songs. And then what I will do is I will put that in the description block. So when some company, when some entity makes a claim that you are infringing on their copyright legalities, you can quickly go back to that video, look at the name of that song, and show the one that they're saying is what they think is their song. You can quickly respond by saying it is not your song, and you're doing this to YouTube, because remember, they are the arbitration. Now for me, my experience has been, I've been very lucky. Since I put all that information in the description block, I think somebody's actually looking at that now, and I get almost no claims against any of the material, the audio material that I use on my PI Dream. Let me try to wrap up today's episode by sharing a little experience that I had. I use one of the artists that don't fall into the first two categories, not myself and not material that comes from the YouTube library, but I actually found him on YouTube. He had a channel on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's a decent guy, and he worked with me on his material to be able to clear the problem that I had. But I probably used his material in about 30 of my videos. And what happened was, all of a sudden, I started getting all these copyright claims day after day after day, and this went on for about 2 weeks. I started getting all these copyright claims against all of those videos that I used his material in. But I had clear right to use all those, because in his YouTube channel, and he was on one of those like SoundHook sites as well, and he has, I believe he even has his own website that he hosts. But in all of his sites that he had his material on, he said, you are free under the Common Creative License. And it was under the Common Creative License. It said the only attribute that you had to do was just add my name and the name of the song, and you can use it. And he put another caveat in there that said you can use it whether you commercialize or non-commercialize your channel. So I thought to myself, well, this is a good place to be able to source out some good material. And he's a very good artist. The music was wonderful. But then again, after using his material for well over 2 years, I started getting all these copyright claims against it. So what I did was I wrote back to YouTube, and I did the challenge on there, and I started answering it. I started with one, and I said, I have permission to use this material based upon, and I copy and pasted the information in there, and it got denied. The material by the company that was representing the artist said it was still a copyright infringement, that they own the rights to it at that point. Now this has to do with some grandfather laws and all this kind of stuff, and doing things the right way, the way you should do. So I wrote directly to the artist, and the artist wrote me back and said, don't worry about it. He said, as long as you downloaded all the material before the certain date, which I did, because I started with him at the very beginning of my PI Dream, he said, you're clear. And what I will do is I will get with YouTube and I will clear all your videos. Well, this took quite a while, and because I gave him, he said, just send me the list of all the ones that you got copyright claims against, and I did. It was like 30 of my videos, and I sent it to him, and it took an extremely long time, but they were finally cleared. Now, the case in point I'm trying to get with here, even if you have permission, some people, what they might do later on is they might decide, maybe it's a publishing company that convinces them that the material is so good that you need to extract all that. And what that individual did, that artist did, he removed a lot of that material from YouTube, or he removed that statement on YouTube that said you're free to use this, whether it's commercially or non-commercially. So he started making a business out of this, and it hurt a lot of people. I saw a lot of complaints against this, but again, the story turned out really well for me. I contacted him, I contacted YouTube, and they did something that's called whitelisting. They whitelisted, I believe they whitelisted the channel, because they all got knocked out so fast right away. Maybe they didn't whitelist it, maybe they did it one by one. But if they whitelist yours, if you have correct permission to do that, that artist cannot basically blacklist any of his songs on your channel, and you don't get into trouble for it. Now, I will tell you a consequence of challenging a copyrighted material. If you are not right, if you are not legally right to be able to use that material on your site, YouTube can actually shut down your channel. And for some people who use the sites to make a living on it, that can be devastating. One more point I want to get across. Occasionally you are going to get somebody who is going to make a claim against you, and it's not going to be a legal claim against you. And what they are betting that you will just go ahead and let it ride. And if you are monetizing your site, then the money is going to go to them if you don't challenge them. You might have 1,000 videos that you've uploaded. You might have 2,000 videos, and you're going to say to yourself, I'm not going to worry about that one video. I don't want to spend the time to sit there and to challenge this and to put my channel at risk. Well, if you are in the right, if you're legally in the right, you should do that. And that would slow down all of these unscrupulous individuals or companies from trying to go out and take advantage of people like you and myself who are trying to provide quality content on a social media site like YouTube. So persistence pays off sometimes. Well, anyway, that's about it. That was what I wanted to get across to you. I know it was a long story, and I know we had a lot of stuff with the raccoons at the very beginning of today's episode, but I think it was a fun day anyway. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little My PI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You will be subscribed, and you'll be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, you have a wonderful and blessed day.